Hi, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do what I would do at the end of a sprint, and that's sprint review. And then I'm going to kind of combine that with a backlog grooming at the end to talk over some of the problems that came up and what the focus will be on in next week. And here we go. So, first of all, what we've completed is the ATS tracking system, making it easier on me to comply with that, try to get bubbled to the top of the process by getting keywords matched in. We found out through some research that the ATS systems will reject you if you're trying to cram too many in there because it turns into spam. And that's why we keep for the ranges that they've recommended and bake that into the resumes and the cover letters, because we did find out that the cover letters are covered too and will help us, ping their keywords so that maybe we'll get a human to talk to us and move us further in the process. And so we did that with both of those, so I can easily just add a job description and extract keywords and create the cover letter and resume that's tailored to that job description. It's working well. I've been applying to some jobs and hasn't really given me many problems. I have to look over it, but we want human in the loop anyway, and that will help keep the errors to a minimum and put our best foot forward. And so with that being said, we had a pretty successful week. I want to implement a application like tracking system on my own. I do have a quick one I just set up to allow me just to see what I have applied to. I can work with that later if I need to make it any better. I also want to get better at getting up-to-date news, and I've asked ChatGPT to every morning send me the newest news on product management, AI, machine learning, stuff like that. And so it started that this morning, and it kind of worked out well because there was a problem that got surfaced. I also want to try to get into that, try to find some problems, maybe try to look into some other areas to bring in some money while I'm doing all these other things. And so let's go on to kind of the backlog grooming. That was the sprint. So here's all the things that came up. So when I was creating the descriptions and titles for TikTok and YouTube and all of the different places I'm posting these, it's kind of tough to keep it tailored to the actual needs of the job descriptions and what our product is doing. And so like trying to keep those keywords with our personas, and it just takes some back and forth. And so the idea is to maybe fix that. I can attach emails to the application cover letter. I don't know what that one was, so let's see. Oh, I didn't add any context there, so we'll just skip that one for now. I'm sure I'll remember. It's hard to update the Jira cards in time. That's just something I noticed on my back end. I remember that. And that's when you're doing this and you need to update your product process and the things you've been doing, it's hard to do it. And maybe there's a way to monitor what you're doing and kind of add it in the background, kind of like an AI note taker works. But I don't know, I just put it down. If you're not a fit for the job description, I wanted to not do that. And so if right now I just say they're pulling pretty generic bullet points from each of my jobs and then matching those, I'm a fit for every job. I could put a job for senior developer and I would probably get away, or it would probably find a way to make me a good fit, but I'm not a good fit for that. So I do want some way to fix that at some point in the future. There's another IV&V process, so just independent verification and validation. And so it's a way just to ground the AI. That's what the technical term for it is, and that really just means giving it some source of truth that we know is objectively right. And so the third party looking at it could cut down on hallucinations, could improve the results, could even improve prompts if you run them through our, like, they can all be automated and AI, and so you could run them to check each other basically. But that was just a thought I had, so I put it down. Jira, let's see. Yeah, the one-up application questions do come up where they'll ask you, why do you want to work here? Or what makes you a good fit? That would be nice to be able to do. I definitely would still like that. Jira and AI is manual. I'm probably not going to do anything with that, but the idea would be to try to put a automated step in there. Now, on a completely different note, my emails are just everything, as everybody's is. And so routing those wouldn't be a terrible idea. I'm sure there's some applications and stuff out there. I might look into that. There might even be something through Zapier or some no-code tools that I could figure out. But we'll figure it out here later. When I post videos for a Problem a Day series, you have to remember which platforms. So the number of platforms, I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and I would like to go to others later, but it's just not enough time in the day. And so having a place inside of it would be nice, but it's just a nice to have, and I'm not really trying to build out a huge project here. I'm trying to show my process and how it works, and I don't think that's necessarily worth my time yet. The hallucinations are happening in just a little bit. That's getting better. I was able to do that through some markdown files, and so we are getting a little bit better on this one, dropping it down in priority. The business data is incomplete. Yeah, it doesn't learn as I go. That's a long-term wish, and so just leave that. Too many tokens. I don't really have too many tokens, I don't think. It's only costing me a couple cents for every one of these, and I'm fine with that right now. There's ways we can do it. I just found out about a service that lets you route it through anyone you want. I think it's called Open Routes. But anyway, I'll look into that later if costs become a problem. The quality, again, this was kind of fixed with the markdown, so it's dropping it down in priority. You can't give immediate feedback. That's always good for me, because like if you start thinking about the interview you had, you want to look back and not make up things. It's slowly like talk yourself out of that it was a good job, or talk yourself into you didn't do it as poorly as you thought. Either way, as soon as you get out, it would be nice to get the feedback into the system, just so that we have it to track with everything else, and then later hopefully leverage that for making tweaks and maybe some kind of coaching, stuff like that. The high value AI PM consulting services, these some of these are just other ideas for starting for making money while I'm doing this with my AI PM skills, because I know they're in need. And so I had AI kind of create these ones, and so this is consulting services. And as I've been saying, if you need any project, I'm more than happy to work with you. Just reach out to me at adampmp.com. And then monetize Problem a Day series, that's probably going to happen with some ads or something, I don't know, but that would be nice in the future. Technical AI implementation services, I can do this. This is more of a like enterprise and businessy type of thing. I've been applying for positions around this too, and I can help you integrate AI, but let it be more of a superpower instead of like taking jobs. It's making everything work faster, because that's what AI does. It just streamlines everything and makes everything much quicker. So the platform assets, like that's pretty close to the other one, so I will, of course. And then the professional networks, of course, I've been doing that. And that's basically where we are right now. So in a normal circumstance with a team, I would meet with them again after this and we go through a sprint planning process to where we figure out what we're going to build. But since it's just me doing all the building, I'm going to prioritize this list, and I'm working on another idea where you kind of add a problem, and from there AI helps you A/B test the idea through a Notion webpage and kind of building the process. But it's more of an agent that I'm building, and I think I might bring that to the problem a day series, just so that we can watch it grow and see if there's any that take off. Because making a AI that is able to take a problem that you see and then work out if it's a good market, all that stuff, come back and you kind of guide it, but it does a lot of the work. There's some precedent. Sam Altman mentioned that he thinks that a 10-person team is going to have $1 billion startup soon. And the way things are starting to show for startups, they're getting monetized very quickly and growing very rapidly. And so maybe we can find one of those areas, try to probe what we know from product management, and see if we can find some oil, if you will. But that's a problem for another day, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow on our Problem of the Day series.